gonna work for me.
Why is that?
Because I love you.
I love you too.
Season 19 just ended with one of the most gut-punching cliffhangers this show has ever delivered, and nobody is ready to talk about what it actually means for season 20. Nathan proposed to Amy. Surrounded by fireflies, with Lindy right there beside them, he told her he couldn't imagine a future without the both of them. And then the screen went black. No answer, nothing. And now, with production listings already placing season 20 as the show's final chapter, every single thing about what comes next just got a whole lot heavier than any of us expected. Let's start with what we actually know, because this is important. The Directors Guild of Canada, Alberta branch, included a listing for Heartland Season 20 in their April 2026 rumor list. And according to tracking sites, Season 20 has been renewed on CBC and is slated to premiere in October 2026. And it's expected to be the final season. That word, final, changes everything about how you watch what's coming. This isn't just another season of Amy healing horses and the family navigating ranch drama. If the reports are right, season 20 is the last time we're going to see the Bartlett Fleming family on that porch. The last time we get Jack sitting with his coffee at sunrise. And that means every storyline left unresolved carries a weight it has never carried before. And there is a lot left unresolved. The season 19 finale placed Amy at a crossroads that could redefine the show's entire future. Nathan proposed under firefly light, asking Amy and Lindy to build a life with him on Salt Spring Island, but the screen faded before we ever got to hear her answer. That silence is intentional. The writers knew exactly what they were doing, because this isn't a simple yes or no. Nathan had just told Amy he was selling his ranch to compensate Heartland for the stolen cattle, and on top of that, he revealed his plan to buy a new ranch on Salt Spring Island, a completely fresh start, away from everything and everyone Amy has ever known. That's not just a proposal. That's Nathan asking Amy to walk away from the ranch her family has run for 6 generations, from her career, from her clients, from Jack, from Lou, from everything. And here's what makes this even more complicated. Throughout season 19, Amy was already striking a delicate balance between her relationship with Nathan and putting her daughter first. Lindy has grown up at Heartland. Her roots are there. Her sense of safety is there. So even if Amy's heart says yes, her head, and every instinct she has as a mother, is going to pull her in the opposite direction. That tension is exactly what season 20 is going to be built around. And if this really is the final season, the answer Amy gives won't just determine her future with Nathan. It might determine whether Heartland Ranch itself survives as the home it has always been, or whether the show closes the door on it forever. So the real question isn't whether Amy loves Nathan, it's whether love is actually enough to make her leave, and what happens to everything she leaves behind if she does. Now, let's talk about the storyline that didn't get nearly enough attention in all the season 19 finale conversation, and that's Dex and Katie. Because if you've been watching closely, there's something building there that is a lot more layered than it looks on the surface. Dex came into the picture as an unlikely new ranch hand, and from day one, his presence tested Jack's patience in ways nobody expected. But what made his arrival really interesting wasn't just his relationship with Jack. It was what his presence started doing to Katie and River's friendship. As River repeatedly chose to be with Dex while he was spiraling, it quietly pulled her further and further away from Katie, leaving their friendship strained and unspoken tensions building all around them. And here's the thing. Katie's frustration was never actually about Dex in the romantic sense. She wasn't harboring a secret crush. She was angry because Dex had taken River away from her. She wasn't just missing her partner on the flag team, she was missing her best friend. That's an important distinction, and it matters a lot for what comes next in season 20. Because by the finale, Katie and River did patch things up. River admitted she didn't like that she had let a guy mess with their friendship, the tension lifted, and the two of them were finally back in sync again. But Dex himself, his arc ended in a very unresolved place. He not only lost his place at Heartland after punching Shim in front of the whole family, but his unresolved anger had actively damaged every relationship around him. That kind of exit doesn't feel like a clean goodbye. That feels like setup. So, heading into season 20, Dax has something to prove, not just to Jack, but to himself. And if he comes back to Heartland a changed person, which the show seems to be pointing toward with that forgiveness letter he read at Katie's writing club, the entire dynamic between him, Katie, and River shifts completely. Jack admitted in the finale that it was actually Katie who changed his mind about Dax. She stood up for him and believed there was still good in him, even after everything. That moment mattered. It planted something between Katie and Dex that neither of them has fully acknowledged yet. Right now, River is still in the picture, and Katie is not the kind of person who goes behind her best friend's back. But the show has quietly laid all the groundwork for something to shift naturally. And in a final season, where every storyline needs a meaningful resolution, you have to wonder, is the show actually building toward Katie and Dex finding their way to each other once everything else falls into place? Because if season 20 is really the last chapter, then every character needs an ending that feels earned. And right now, Katie's ending is nowhere near written yet, which means whatever happens with Dex is going to be one of the most emotionally charged arcs of the entire season. But here's what nobody is talking about yet. There's one character who has been almost completely absent from season 19, and the way the finale quietly reminded us of him feels like a very deliberate warning about what's coming in season 20. And when he finally shows back up, it could change everything for the entire family. Let's talk about Tim Fleming. Because his absence from season 19 is one of the most significant things that happened this entire season, and almost nobody is giving it the attention it deserves. Season 19 is the first season that Tim hasn't appeared in any episodes since he first joined the show. That is not a small thing. Tim has been a part of this family's story from the very beginning. He's Amy and Lou's father. He's Katie and Georgie's grandfather. He's the person Jack has had the longest, most complicated, most emotionally layered relationship with across 19 seasons of this show. And he was completely absent, not reduced, absent. So when the season 19 finale gave us that quiet, almost easy to miss moment of Jack sitting on the porch and picking up a phone call from Tim, the show was doing something very deliberate. Jack's quiet moment with Tim on the phone at the end of the episode was the perfect way to acknowledge Tim's presence without disrupting the flow of the finale, reminding us that family, even when off-screen, is always close to home. That one moment was the writers telling you, Tim is still there, and he's coming back. And think about the timing of that. If season 20 really is the final chapter of this show, then bringing Tim back isn't just a fan service moment. It becomes something far heavier than that. Chris Potter is expected to return as Tim Fleming in season 20. And when you consider everything that's been left unresolved, Amy potentially leaving the ranch, Georgie already heading toward a new chapter in Austria, the whole family facing the biggest crossroads they've ever faced, Tim walking back through those gates is going to hit completely differently than it ever has before. This family is about to make decisions that will define what Heartland looks like forever. And Tim, who spent years being absent from his daughter's lives and spent the rest of those years trying to make up for it, deserves to be standing right there when it all comes to a head. Now, let's talk about the release date, because that matters too. Season 20 is expected to get into production in Calgary, Alberta, with a 3-month shoot planned between May and August 2026. It is slated to premiere in October 2026 on CBC, which follows the exact same pattern the show has kept for years. Past seasons have typically begun filming in the spring, usually around May, across the scenic landscapes near Calgary, with the schedule allowing the cast and crew to wrap up by late summer and pave the way for a fall premiere. So, if everything stays on track, October 2026 is when we find out Amy's answer. October 2026 is when we see whether Tim comes home. October 2026 is when we find out if this ranch, the one that has been in the Bartlett Fleming family for 6 generations, gets to survive into whatever comes next. Nearly 2 decades of storytelling, and it's all coming down to one final season. So the real question is, after everything this family has been through, after every wildfire, every heartbreak, every impossible goodbye, does Heartland get the ending it actually deserves?